Good morning, folks. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning on July 7th. I'm coming off of, I've had a 5-day mini vacation for the 4th of July weekend. Today's Tuesday. I'll go back to work tomorrow. Short week. That'll be nice. So it's been 2 weeks since I've given my last garden tour. So I thought I'd give an update this morning, see how things are looking. This is a view of my garden from my porch, and it's just one of the things that I did when I first started gardening. That it was going to be where I could see this garden all the time, and that I really needed to keep it visually attractive as possible. I just know, using your senses, how you use your senses for recovery are really important. And so every time I look at it, I want to be happy with what I'm seeing. So right here, we have the pole beans. I'm really kind of surprised. I would have thought they would have grown a little bit faster. Because these aren't in the garden and hooked up to the irrigation system. I don't think they get the water and fertilizer that they really could. But they're doing good, and it's still early in the growing season. So let's walk down here to the garden. So every morning I walk the garden and see how things are doing. You can see my wife string trimmed these rows yesterday. There was a bunch of, I keep putting the grass mulch there, and so today I got to get out here and mow this aisleway right here, and that'll collect a bunch more grass clippings, and I'll mulch these rows again. So starting off, we got eggplant looking good, getting almost up to the irrigation pipe there. Bug damage is minimal. We got our tomato plants. We got lots of tomatoes started. The plants themselves are growing past the irrigation pipe. Everything's looking good. I don't have any disease. Pepper plant. There's a few little peppers. I got some other pepper plants that are just doing great. And eggplant, that's my first little bitty eggplant growing on there. Minimal damage insects. Tomatoes, no disease problems. Things are just in a kind of a growing stage here. I'm not really harvesting, and really kind of takes a minimum. Doesn't take a whole lot of care right now. Things are just all in good shape. Planting. See this bottom of this tomato plant, all the weeds coming up out of the can there around the tomato plant. Got to get that weeded and mulched. Got the eggplant, more eggplant, looking good. Tomato plant. See all the clips. Remember all the clips I put on it? Keep them trained, going up that green stake. Got all the clips waiting to be used. Having them in place makes it a lot easier to keep them trimmed up real good. There's a nice little clutch of tomatoes, looking good. Here's a pepper plant. I've pulled a few peppers off of this already. Little banana pepper. Pretty small yet, but as soon as they're there and usable, I start picking them, because if I wait, I just wind up with a whole bunch of peppers at one time. More eggplant. This is my one of my sunflower plants. I really don't know what's going on with it. If it's ants are on it a lot, or if it's just running its life cycle. But not quite as pretty as it used to be. At the end of today, I'm done planting in this garden. I just gotta, it's just done, I'm done with planting season. So I had a few extra of these leeks, so I figured I'd make a bucket of them. Remember, I put one leek in each bucket. Like right down here. That's one of my wife's squash, and it's got a leek in it. But I had extra leeks, so I planted a bucket. But it's time to be done planting. And earlier I talked about my internal clock and how this garden really helps me dictate and keep in synchronized with Mother Nature. That when it's time to start planting, you gotta get out there and plant. When it's time to stop planting, you gotta stop and just start taking care of this stuff. And then before you know it, harvesting, really turns into a full-time job. And then what you do with your crop after you harvest it. There's a nice little clutch of peppers in there. And you see that good? So move along a little bit more here. More tomatoes. These are some beefsteak tomatoes. I don't grow too much of them. I like plum tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, but I guess if you're a gardener, you got to have some of those nice big slicing tomatoes, as they call them. Cauliflower, getting nice plants on them. Going to start forming the heads pretty soon. Tomato plant, that's a cherry tomato. Cucumbers, so they're really just coming in right now. There's one right there. If I wasn't talking and filming, I'd be eating this right now. I like these Kirby cucumbers. You don't have to peel them, just eat them the way they are. They got little thorns on them. I just rub them off, wipe them off on my shirt, and I eat it. When I have plenty, I take them in the house and use them in the salad and for pickling. I'm really looking forward to do a lot more pickling this year. So this cucumber trellis is doing great. You see all the blossoms on there. I got to do some trimming on this, like this one right here. This right here, you see this is just going wild. It's away from the trellis, and all it's going to do is wind up on the ground and be a mess. So I really need to do some trimming on this cucumber trellis. There's another one heading for the ground. Got to get it up off the ground. Just like in recovery, we got to cut things out of our lives. Pruning is really important to the garden. It's important to our lives of recovery. Is what do we need to be taken out of our lives to make our lives work better? What do we need to be pruning here in the garden to really improve the health of the garden? This is the first one of my wife's special squashes. They're summer squash. There's 3 different varieties. There's a nice little bucket of lettuce ready to go. There's another one of those buckets with leeks. Be interesting to see how that goes. I'm hoping I'm actually going to pickle some of those leeks. I'll slice them up just like a bread and butter pickle. Here's more of these my wife's squash. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let's see if we can get down here and see it. Yeah, look at the damage there. That was one day. It was hot and rainy, and I didn't get out here in the garden and check things. And that's cucumber beetle, and they can just really raise havoc with your garden. You see in the center there, the new growth, that's all nice and healthy, but the other growth, but the plant will grow out of that. It's going to be okay. There's another bucket of lettuce coming on. As I harvest those lettuce, I'll replant them with more plantings of lettuce. Let's see how much I can keep lettuce all the time. There's a squash. Beetles didn't eat it up. That's doing really good. Special kind of summer squash for my wife. And this is something that really makes me happy and really makes me feel good about what I'm doing out here. So this is the new trellis I built this year for my second planting of cucumbers. You know, cucumbers always run out of around the middle of August, I guess. So I got a second planting coming on. That was something I did this weekend. I made sure that I finished getting those all transplanted. Some buckets I have 2 plants in, some buckets 3. But I got that all done, ready to go. Makes me feel good. Something I wanted for a long time was that second trellis. These are what's left of my plants that I planted from seeds that I transplanted. I've transplanted a lot, but I'm going to use, and I'm looking for new homes. Got some squash there, got some romaine lettuce there that I'm going to plant them, but really used up a lot of my transplants. This is well, I guess I'd call my second planting of cauliflower. Looking good. Trying to make a fall crop. I think it's going to be early for a fall crop, but these are very hardy. Frost won't kill them, and it'll be cooler, and I can can them, work in the house without making a lot of heat. So I'm looking forward to doing that. The irrigation system has been a blessing. Keeping this garden, when it's dry, I can keep it watered really good, really healthy. And when it's wet, just don't use it. So that's my quick walk around the garden. What did I say it was? July 7th. So I really shifting from planting to just maintaining it and letting it grow before I really start harvesting. I'm just barely starting right now. So, you know, it's another shift in the garden, a shift in the seasons. And it really pulls on me personally that I have to make the shift. I have to, you know, stop doing planting, which I've done plenty of. I've really planted my garden really good this year. And just shift to the season, the stage of this garden. And again, that's just like recovery. You know, we go from a lot of us, we go from just seeking medical stabilization, and a lot of us, you know, start learning how to do rehabilitation, maybe getting a job or getting our own housing back or whatever. And those are 2 stages, 2 seasons of recovery. But then recovery is really seeking your own full potential, and that's what this garden is. It's really starting to grow and really showing its full potential. So same thing in our lives and our recovery, that we have to move through stages and ultimately to strive to reach your full potential. All right, well, we'll keep you posted, see how the garden's doing, and we'll catch you again. Thanks for being out here with me this morning.